we're back again talking about YouTube's moderation practices after they had gone after, it's a fairly confusing situation, to be honest. They initially started taking down videos and even channels altogether that appeared to show content where a silencer was or suppressor was attached to the barrel of a gun that was apparently viewed for some period of time. I think it was a couple months there as a violation of YouTube guidelines. And they even retroactively went back years to go after some videos on this. And then they changed their minds and reversed themselves. And now these videos are being re-added. These channels are coming back. You were directly affected by this. Is that right?
Yeah, almost all of us were. All the big gun channels and a ton of smaller ones as well. But yeah, myself definitely included. I had a video from 5 or 6 years ago removed without any warning and was given a channel strike warning. So the way the system works on YouTube is if you do something that is so flagrant that it requires content to actually be deleted off the platform, they give you a strike. And the first one's just a warning. Second one, you can't post for a week. Second one, there's some additional penalty. And the third one, they just delete your channel completely and irrevocably. Right. Well, mostly irrevocably.
Yeah, very
so I got
irrevocably, I guess.
Yeah, irrevocably unless they decide it's not.
Yes.
That's actually a good description of a lot of YouTube's policies, or it's definitely this unless we decide it's not.
Yes. Yeah. And you see this even beyond the gun space, of course. This is one of the most common things that YouTube creators talk about is YouTube's sort of bizarre or inconsistent application of their own rules, and the way that they've changed them constantly to try to appease advertisers is a big topic of conversation among people who, use the platform to make their living, which is frankly quite a lot of people these days. It's the second largest website in the world, right? So, everything they do is going to have a pretty major effect, even if it seems like a minor change, on a lot of people. And in this case, it had an effect on, not only your channel, but like you said, basically everyone in the gun space that's ever done anything about suppressors. And that included things like deleting entire channels of Kit Badger was one. Silencer Co.'s channel got deleted. A lot of Ammo Land's channel got deleted. Recoil Magazine's channel got deleted. Just completely gone over this issue. But then YouTube came in and said, we've made a mistake.
Oops. We didn't actually mean to do all that.
Yeah. We could probably tell a little bit from that reaction what you think of their reversal here. But let me give you the line that they told me. YouTube spokesperson, when I reached out for comment on the situation, said, it took a little while. They said they were they wanted to address the mistake that they'd made, and they started restoring a lot of channels and videos, including yours. But the quote they gave me was, upon review, we determined the videos in question are not violative of our community guidelines and have reinstated them. When it's brought to our attention that content has been mistakenly removed, review it and take appropriate action, including reinstating and removing associated strikes. So just give us your reaction to that.
I think my reaction to that is when they say when it comes to our attention, what they mean is when enough people make a big enough fuss that this might actually get noticed outside of the tiny minority of channels that we're doing it to, then we'll reconsider our decision and push back our plans to crush all this content to a later date when people aren't watching again.
Interesting. So
I'm getting pretty cynical about this stuff.
Well, to be fair, it was just how many years of this sort of thing affecting your channel's reach and income over these sorts of policy decisions, right?
I've been using YouTube since 2011 or 2012. The problems of this manner go back to 2016 for me. Now, there's a cohort of YouTube gun channels who were on it a couple of years earlier than me, and maybe they were having issues even earlier. But for me, it's 7 years now of this sort of behavior.
Yeah, and as I alluded to earlier, this is something that affects very often channels of all sorts on YouTube, as YouTube sort of tries to continually adjust the sweet spot for advertisers, I guess, seems to be what stems from a lot of these issues. But it's certainly, especially in the gun sphere, it's even more severe, I think.
So one of the things that was particularly notable on this incident is, yeah, as you say, this sort of behavior is generally based around trying to sanitize and bubble wrap everything on the platform to satisfy the most potentially hesitant sponsors, advertisers. But YouTube has a very easy system for making sure that advertisements don't appear on content that might be controversial, and that is to simply demonetize videos. And that's usually been where the arguments and the issues are between creators and YouTube, which is to say creators being upset and having nothing that they can do about it, because there is no communication between creators and YouTube, to be clear. Like, I'm shocked that you were able to talk to anybody. I have 2.5 million subscribers. I have nobody at YouTube that I can talk to, literally.
And I'll be honest with you, I was kind of surprised by this myself. So I'd initially heard of this issue with Silencer Central was one of the first channels. There's a company that sells suppressors, and they had started seeing this issue of a lot of their instructional videos were being taken down and given strikes, and it was this was becoming a significant problem, and so they reached out to me to look into it. And this was before SHOT Show, so it would have been early January, and then as I was started to look into it, then I started to hear about more people, including yourself, who were affected by this. And obviously went up to even the very largest channel, I think, is Demolition Ranch. I believe is the most popular gun channel on the platform.
Probably,
and there may be others. I think he's at like 11.2 million, something like that. And he had one of his videos taken down, Grantham. Just basically every very popular gun channel. And that's when I, figured, well, I should reach out to YouTube and try to see if there's they're going to offer up some explanation for what's going on or something, because usually they don't. But this time, surprisingly, they did. Like they got back to me, which sort of indicates to me that they were sort of concerned about the backlash that had unfolded.
They got back to you, but they didn't actually explain anything. Like I was saying, they can demonetize videos, and that's what they normally do. And once a video is demonetized, there is no advertiser concern with it, because an advertisement will never show up on it. What they were doing on this was actively deleting content completely off the platform. And that is novel for YouTube. Like, we haven't run into that before. And for creators, that's downright frightening.